We have just, last night, done a ghost hunt at Chillingham Castle.
As you can see, it's absolutely magnificent.
We've made it through.
The ghost hunter, Richard, who you're going to hear in the podcast, gave us a witch totem, which we called Ethel.
Yeah. So she'll be coming with us on all the
from now on, she's going to protect us against everything. It
was quite the night. Saw about 1 million ghosts.
Yeah.
Enjoy the pod. Anything else, you can see the whole podcast, you can see the whole ghost hunt in full on Patreon.
Yeah, Ghost Hunt is on Patreon, but we're going to do a special podcast about Chillingham. And you're going to hear Richard and all his stories, which are absolutely mad. We've had about 2 hours sleep.
Yeah, we're dead.
So...
But enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Welcome to episode 27 of
Ghost Huns.
Welcome to episode 27. We're in Chillingham Castle.
As promised.
We've
driven 75 million hours to Chillingham Castle, which is the spookiest place I've ever been to.
Yeah, we're in Northumberland.
Suzie won't do the accent, don't worry.
I couldn't even do it if I tried. Is it a bit Geordie?
Your accent a bit Geordie, or is it Geordie up here?
Northumberland.
Geordie Land's Tyneside.
That's the most that you've offended Rich as well.
Yeah, I know, I should have got that right. I'm really sorry.
Gosh, that's it. Offend the guy who's in charge of the ghosts.
What would you say the Northumberland accent is? Do you have one?
It's a Northumbrian accent that lives in Northumberland.
Yeah, that was a pretty impossible question, Suzie.
It's in actual fact, as you move, Northumberland's so vast, as you move through Northumberland, the dialect changes a little bit as you go.
Oh, Richard, honestly don't, because Suzie does some very inappropriate accents.
I do. Let's not go there.
No.
Just to give you context of what you're listening to and what you can see, Richard is our wonderful ghost hunter, and me and Hannah have just done a ghost hunt around Chillingham Castle, and Richard is the expert on ghosts.
Which
basically
is why we have
the lead expert in the UK. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I completely.
And didn't you say earlier this is like if this is the holy grail of ghost hunting?
I think so. I mean, it's classed as the most haunted castle in England, top 10 in the world, and I think it's the holy grail. I
think we completely agree, because we've seen, we've heard, we've felt ghosts today, which is why we've got massive glasses of wine.
So basically, cheers to us. Basically, we're just a horrible bunch of skeptics, me and you. But now, I'm on a level of stress I've never had before since like A levels. My shoulders are like by my ears. But
by the time this episode goes out as well, our ghost hunt will be available to watch on Patreon.
Yeah,
because we're on Patreon.
It's super spooky. But I'm going to pass this over to you, Richard, to maybe describe what happened this evening.
Thanks, Suzie. Right then.
Look at Susie's face, thrilled.
We started off the night in the torture chamber.
Classic.
Now,
we start off tonight in a torture chamber.
The torture chamber holds the ghost of John Sage, the infamous torturer. It also holds the ghost of his wife that he killed by accident.
Well, you say accident, Richard. I disagree. Did it by strangulation during the old...
Sex on a rack.
Sex on a rack. Thanks, Suzie. Richard was going to put it a lot more delicately, but...
It never caught on in the Middle Ages, but...
It is now, Richard, let me tell you. Can't get Suzie off a rack.
So, we extinguished the lights in the torture chamber and tried to invoke some spirits to come through. We had 1 or 2 red orbs. We had some temperature changes. Did one of you get a hair pulling?
No.
The back of my neck was scratched and tickled.
Yeah, that was the poltergeist of Peter.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think Peter quite liked me.
Yeah, he did.
But if you want to see the full Well, it's all been. I think it's safe to say that it's been an incredible amount of activity.
It's been pretty decent.
And we've still got the rest of our night in the tower. But you said you've been in the tower, haven't you, Richard?
Yeah.
And something happened to you.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you when it was. It was the 4th of April last year.
Oh, my God.
And
I'm already scared.
There was a ghost hunt on in here. And the castle was more or less deserted. And there was a school trip coming in the next day. So instead of doing a 70-mile round trip, they says, oh, the place is empty, just stay in the tower. Oh, thanks very much. So I got back to the room at 20 to 2 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
Walked into the bathroom, straight through the front door, turned left into the bathroom, and a lady's voice goes, hello.
No.
So I went, yeah, hello.
Where was that coming from?
It just came as it was standing right behind me in the bathroom. And I thought, somebody's in the wrong room.
Okay.
Oh, right, in the bath.
Can you say something? When we first went into the tower room, there is a cupboard above the bathroom that started rattling, opening itself, and we looked up at it, and all of us, so like Mike, Barney, me and you, we were like, the cupboard's opening, and we're too scared to go and look inside, and that seems to be right what would be behind you in the bathroom.
Well, I really do hope you sleep well.
We're not going to be sleeping. We're going to put TV on loud. Susie's going to make pasta. I'm going to get battered, Richard. I'm going to get absolutely out of my tree. We've all gone mad. We've all gone. Richard, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
We've had a very, very, very active. That was the fire. Calm down.
The what?
That was the bells. Oh. Fucking hell. I'm so on edge. We've had it's been very active.
Yep.
There's voices that come through on the what is it called again? That's it. Oh, we're gonna do that later for everyone.
Spirit box.
The spirit box. You can see some things, you can feel. Why do you think that ghosts, and I'm saying this from a skeptical point of view, because ghosts are something that I am obsessed with and I really, really hope are true, and I hope they're real. And I feel like after tonight, actually, I feel like I've actually had an experience, which I thank you deeply for. You're welcome. But why do you think that ghosts only show themselves, and why don't they just come out now and they're like, oh yeah, you're right? Why do you think that was?
No, ghosts are 24/7.
But why are they invisible to our eye?
They are not always invisible.
Right.
Right. Everybody, every individual is slightly different in their makeup.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like a radio receiver. Some can be tuned bang on, like an analog one. Some can be slightly off. Unless it's tuned in properly, it's not going to get reception.
Right.
And to some degree, the same thing happens with ghosts that you see. A lot of people experience tactile ghosts. We've got plenty of them in here.
Yes.
Okay.
I got touched up by one earlier, didn't I?
Smells, sounds, things getting moved, things that everybody sees. You know, physical things being moved, that's one thing. But to see an apparition when things are right, I mean, like the time in the torture chamber last year, 22 people out of 24, plus me, saw the thing.
Yeah, you can't really deny that, can you?
It was the ghost of a monk. Lasted about 6 seconds. Bearing in mind that where it was part of the old monastery.
Very monkey.
Very.
No one will have heard that because Susie hasn't got a microphone, but she's just described it as very monkey.
But the one thing tonight that was brilliant, and we all witnessed this, and we saw it, we heard it, was when Simon came through, who had a thing for Susie.
Oh, do you know, look at Susie's face. She is so thrilled. And as soon as even a ghost, she was flirting with a ghost. Oh, sorry. Yeah. When she was flirting with a ghost, she started twirling her hair, looking all thrilled with herself.
It wasn't just Simon. I need to reiterate at this point. It was Simon and Sally.
Simon, Sally and Susie.
All of the ghosts that have a letter beginning with S came for me. Thruple. They are. Listen, I'm going to have a lovely night. No.
We're not sharing a room, you ming.
that voice in the cupboard above the bathroom.
I have got something to admit, actually, and I haven't told Suzie this yet because I wanted to tell it on the podcast.
Have you pranked me already?
No, I haven't pranked you.
What?
But last week at home, I had a ghost experience.
At home
at my parents' house. Like
Go
an actual
on.
ghost experience. Can I tell you and you tell me what you think? So I was sat at the table with my mum, and it's a part of the house that's been like refurbished, so it's an add-on, but it's very old. Well, it's like 1904 the house was built, and we've built it onto the garden, so like we've taken some of the garden up like that. And I was sat at the table and I felt someone tap my leg twice. And I thought it was my nephew, because my nephew was sat at the table, but he was so far away, there's no way. And I said, I'm sure I've just felt someone tap me. And my mum said, I wasn't going to say anything, but every single time I sit at this table, I feel taps. But she said, I've always felt that they're really reassuring. I haven't wanted to scare anyone, but I feel like they're really reassuring. And then a couple of days later, we stood in a different part of the kitchen. I said that I bought some sage for today as a bit of a laugh, right? As a bit of a laugh.
Well done.
I took it out of the packet. I moved to the right. I bumped into someone, and I felt it like I'm doing that to you now. And I looked, there was no one there. And I felt like I'd bumped into someone. And I went, oh, sorry. Because I thought someone was there and there was nobody there.
Jesus Christ.
And I promise you, I felt it as clear as I felt that upstairs earlier.
I'm passing the mic to Richard.
What do you think, Richard?
Possibly an old gardener who...
Do you think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's pissed off that we've ruined the garden. And then I got the sage out.
Got the sage out, yeah.
And now he's like, no thanks.
Well, the thing is, he'll go no thanks, because sage is often used for cleansing areas of...
yeah, exactly, that's it. And he doesn't want to go.
Doesn't want to go.
And to be fair, my mum she was like, don't get rid of my ghost.
No.
I like my ghost, he's very, very nice.
Yeah.
So I had a ghost experience.
Well, the other great experience tonight was when both music boxes triggered simultaneously.
Yeah, so this was happening when I was on the Ouija board. Classic. I was on the Ouija board in the Great Hall.
Oh, Suzie
As
left.
you do. And by the way, there's a Ouija board on the piano in the hallway. Is that yours?
Nope.
Fine, because I went, like, literally was just wandering about, because I was like, oh, cool, we're staying in the tower, let's have a wander about before we go on the ghost hunt. Just a Ouija board placed above the piano, so fuck knows. Anyway, what were we doing? I was doing the Ouija board, speaking to Simon and Sally, and then I said, what did I say? Am I welcome here?
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly, here? 2 music boxes on either side of the room started ding-donging. Spirits, do you wish us well?
Oh, 2 of them together.
Was that yes or no?
Gosh,
Two. That was incredible. 2 music boxes triggering absolutely simultaneously.
That must mean they wish us well.
Really well.
That was phenomenal.
That was amazing.
Ask them if Ghost Huns is going to be like worldwide successful.
Are you tempting fate to ask them a thing about our podcast?
Well,
will we be successful in our podcast adventure? Oh my goodness.
Has that ever happened before? Where both of them have started doing it before Richard?
Not at precisely the same second. And yeah, there were so many things that happened when you were using the Ouija board and the automatic writing planchette and the scrying mirror.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That was honestly so weird. So we did a bit of scrying, which is a bit like crying, but it's got an S in it.
Brilliant.
At the start of an S. Like Simon and Suzie and Sally. Oh, my God. It's all coming together. We did a bit of scrying. I'm going to say what I think it is. Scrying is when you look at your reflection in a black mirror and you ask the spirits to reveal themselves around you. Is that right?
That's right. You concentrate on your reflection in the mirror. You can do this in various stages, but we were doing it quite lightly tonight with the candle illuminating one side of your face. So you concentrate on your reflection and you ask whatever spirit is around if they would like to reveal themselves through yourself. Yes. Or maybe look over your shoulder. But usually what tends to happen is you find, you could be completely changing maybe into an old man or something like that. And the scary one is, I've had this happen so often, somebody says the top half of my reflection like the top half of my head completely disappeared. It does freak people out, the scrying mirror.
I swear there's a game I used to play when I was like a teenager, when I didn't have many friends. I'm just putting, listen, I had a lovely time. But when you're looking at it, you have some candles and you're looking into the mirror, and then you see if your reflection starts changing, and it's supposed to show you in like 60 years time, and I swear I saw myself and I look great.
Facelift, Botox, filler.
Yeah. I
filler on the décolletage.
Yeah, I look like Courtney Love. But Richard, you said you had a few spooky stories for us, and I think we should delve in because I think you have had such an amazing breadth of experience with all the time you've had in Chillingham Castle. I want to hear.
Can I ask you one more question before you do? Do you think that you're, because some people feel that they're more in tune with spirits. Do you think that you were like that before you started ghost hunting, or do you think that's something that you've acquired? Is it a skill? Or is it something
it's been with me.
Forever.
It's been with me ever since I was a little lad.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you remember seeing?
Oh yeah. It's been the norm. Going back as far
I
as
bet
I
you scared
remember.
the shit out of your parents.
My grandmother was she was gifted with second sight.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so perhaps these things bump down a generation. I'm sensitive to it, for sure, and all through life, the supernatural has been absolutely the norm, just living alongside everything else. So it's interesting. Some people just, what a load of rubbish, until something inexplicable happens, and I say, well, what do you make of that then? And it's like, and they're always seeking for a rational explanation. But I say, no, let it go. Let these things come to you, and see what happens. It's a fascinating subject. Some things can be, I get rattled.
Do you?
Sometimes, yeah, because I get asked a lot. Are you ever scared? It's like, well, there's some things that seem a little bit off beam. One or two things a bit more powerful than others. The short answer is yes, you do sometimes. And one particular time, recently-ish, was the 29th of December.
As long as it wasn't in the tower. Richard.
No. I first heard it in here. So, it was about 1:10 in the morning. I'd had a group of ghost hunters in. They'd gone. The castle was empty. And I thought, what on earth is that tapping noise? And it was a windy night. So, it's coming from the toilet. And everything was secure in the toilets, but the tapping was coming off the mirror. And you don't want things like that.
Oh, my God. Because is a mirror a portal?
It can, if you have two mirrors aligned perfectly side by side, that can.
There's a game called The Kings or something that we were going to play that involves that, but I think that's even Christmas. Mirrors is terrifying anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, because you've just got this infinite amount of energy flying backwards and forwards. And I'm just going to say one thing while we're sitting here. This is going to scare the living daylights out of you.
Oh, well,
great.
That's on my MO in life.
Yeah, Suzie is actually sitting directly on top of a portal that comes from the original dungeons below.
Oh my God!
Sorry?
You're sitting on your bumholes on a portal.
Yeah.
It's the name of the podcast episode.
Sorry, I'm sitting
You're
on a
portal.
Mm-hmm. That's where I demonstrate this with a REM pod all the time. I say, people, look, watch this. Bring a REM pod across. You know what I'm saying? REM pod, a radiating electromagnetic pod. It generates its own electromagnetic field, and if anything goes into the field, it gives you a tone in various strengths depending on what's gone into the field.
So just to be clear, I'm sat on a REM pod kind of field. Is that good or bad for me?
Sounds pretty bad, mate.
It'll be all right.
That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
It'll be okay.
Chillingham Castle Special. It'll be all right. Yeah, well, I like that a lot.
Yes, it's the first part of the name of the castle gives you the chill factor.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because I felt even earlier on we started getting used to the same spirits that we hear over and over again, and it made me feel quite emotional actually.
Yeah.
Rather than scared, it did make me feel very emotional.
So.
I want to hear the chill.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go on. Yeah.
Right then. Outside in the woods.
Oh God.
Just here.
No stories ever good that started with that.
Okay. And it was more or less on Halloween. And we were out recording a Halloween show. And there's a ley line which runs through the woods, a little one. So I got a pair of divining rods. I went, let's go and find this line. So I found the line. I says, right, okay, then here we go. And I switched one of these on, one of these spirit boxes, probably this very one. As soon as I switched it on, a girl's voice, bearing in mind we're in the woods in the middle of the night, went, stop. Why do you want us to stop? And she went, the others. Right.
Oh my God.
Okay. The others. Says, what do the others want? Normal. Okay, and how do they get normal? And she went out. So she wanted normality, and can we get the others out? So we're like, whoa, and then it went, this is really, really awful out here. So we came back into the castle thinking, I'll tell you what, we'll leave that for a minute, where we actually left it for the rest of the night. But I went back with, there was some students staying here, and I went, should we go ghost hunting in the woods?
Of course you did.
I went, yeah, all right, Anne.
Yeah.
So off we went, and what we're looking for, we're going to see if we can find the others. And the others, I says, oh yeah. So we went to the same spot, and I says, right, everybody was equipped with divining rods. I had spirit box and K2s as well, and
K2.
the K2, that was the lightly up device that we had, the EMF detector. And we saw them. They started coming towards us.
Who were they?
There were 6 of them.
How did you see them? What did they look like?
There were 6 of them. They were a ragged bunch.
So how did you see them? What did they look like?
Yep, they just started coming towards us out the woods. Just a ragged bunch, probably from the Middle Ages.
No.
Yeah, so they got closer and closer and closer, and then I turned around and everybody had gone.
They left you behind?
Yeah.
What dickheads.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, that was terrible. Leaving poor Richard behind.
But the other one was...
Richard, we would never leave you behind.
Well,
you are an official ghost hunt, and we would never leave you behind.
I think we did leave you behind briefly earlier on, but we
Yeah.
So did they look like spectres or
all shadow forms? But there you could make them out, and they were all in a group together in one long line.
How many did you say there were?
6.
That's too many, isn't it?
It's
Jesus Christ.
yeah. That wasn't so good. And then the other one was once it was in July last year. Nikki from the office, she was out with the dog, and it was a lovely evening. And I had a spirit box on me again, and I went, "Oh, I've got this." And she says, she asked if there was anybody around, and the answer was, "There's loads of us." So.
Oh my God.
So yeah, but the King Edward room upstairs.
That would freak me out the most, that room.
Yeah, that's got quite a reputation. The room can change at the drop of a hat. It can be fine 1 minute, oppressive the next. So I was up... King Edward stayed there in 1298 on his way to fight with...
1298.
Yes.
I don't even know how many years ago that was. Loads.
Quite a while ago, off to fight with William Wallace. So... Up there, we've got the ghost of Key, and Key likes to touch that.
He touched me, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But more about that on Patreon.
Yeah. And he likes to touch people's ankles, and he also sometimes manifests himself alongside a smell of boiled cabbage.
Oh, I love boiled cabbage.
I do like cabbage and gravy.
There you go. goes hand in hand. Now, I was with a paranormal group last year in that room. There was 14 of us. And all of our equipment had the SLS camera on, the whole lot. Everything failed at the same time. And for 20 minutes, all of us watched orbs with the naked eye rain down and go through the floor at our feet.
That is not okay. Jesus. Honestly, but this is exactly what happened to us tonight. So every time we were filming something that went a bit weird, which it did in the King Edward room, like you said, the cameras failed.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Why are you looking at the ceiling like that?
I was looking around just
You
to see
look
if
possessed.
But you never know what's going to be about, do you? There was a ghost behind your head earlier, Richard said.
Yeah, there was. So basically, Barney was filming us in the King Edward the room, and again, Sally appeared. Obviously, Sally's my mate. Like, of course, she was there.
She wants to be a bit more than your mate.
No. She's just she and Simon just want to have a lovely time with me, and she appeared. But behind me, didn't you say you saw her face in the window, and then she dipped down?
Yep. Only the top half of her, right by the window. You'd see she was quite transparent, but there she was, and then Barney's camera failed at precisely that second. So yeah, this is what we like. The other thing you have to watch outside near the river is the quite an awful spectre, and that's the Shellycoat.
The what?
The Shellycoat.
What's Shellycoat?
The Shellycoat is basically the bogeyman.
Oh, you said the bogey.
Oh, now the bogle's different. I'm going to get at the bogle.
Yeah.
Which, now, the thing is, in Northumberland and the Scottish borders, the most feared, the most terrifying road ghost is the bogle.
Road ghost?
Yes. Seen on the road to catch lonely travellers and possibly lure them to their doom.
Oh my gosh. What?
We had one of those on our way down. There was a bloke with a lawnmower, and he just came out in front of the car.
No, he was.
That was a bogle. That was a bogle / dickhead, but obviously a bogle.
He wasn't a bogle. He was a dickhead. He had a death wish.
Yeah. There's some great bogle tales. Old Scottish books have these. But I've got one. This happened to me and a friend of mine.
You've seen a bogle?
Oh, yes.
Of course you have, Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Stop doing that laugh.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And it terrified the living daylights out of us. Especially, it was early hours of the morning, and we were going down the road, and what on earth's that? And then it was really peculiar, and then we got close to it, and then there was this old sort of looking fella dressed in old drab trying to slowly flag the car down. And I said to my pal, I says, "We're not stopping now." He says, "No." And we kept going, and when I went past, I looked in the mirror, gone.
Hitchhiker.
Gone.
Phantom hitchhiker.
Phantom hitchhiker. And we were in the car, and we were just like, oh. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And there was another one. Came from here and going down the road, and one of the guys says, "I think there's something in the car with us."
No. We talked about this on last week's episode, Richard. We do not like things in cars.
Yeah.
Because I drive a lot. I drive a lot for work, and I hate.
Go on. What's in the back?
The idea of things in the car.
What's on the back seat? And I says, "Oh, I think so. I think something's in the back seat." Why? He says, "Well, I keep getting my hair pulled."
So grim.
So it was. I mean, the thing is, we've got some hair pully ghosts in here, especially Peter and young Eleanor. But yes, so. I'm forever bringing them home, but I think they come back with me.
I'm
and
so
the thing is,
sad.
I've just said that, right? I've just said that, and we've just had a freezing cold belt come down here.
I feel that.
It's gone.
I can feel
it's ice cold right here. So
I'm so sad because, Richard, honestly, I was driving back from a gig the other night, really late at night, driving back from a gig, and I was getting a bit freaked out because I get scared about things being in the back of the car. I just can't see them, whatever. And I thought something had pulled my hair, and I thought I was being stupid. And now you've just said that. Yeah. It's taking me right back.
Let's get haunted. So you don't have to. Richard, I think it's time that we tried to contact a ghost.
Okay.
Any ghost that might be here.
Right you are. Spirit box.
So what does the spirit box do? What does the spirit box do, Richard?
The spirit box is basically a detuned radio receiver which is permanently scanning. I scan this in reverse at 150 milliseconds.
Right.
As I say, it's a radio receiver, but it never ever picks up music in the scan or anything like that.
That's weird because earlier on I heard some music coming from that.
Yeah, it never. But I've had the music box actually play through this.
Maybe that was it.
And it did on Thursday night last week. Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to use this to see if any spirits will talk to us.
The white noise is used as an energy gate for that to come through. So, Susie, if you'd like to hold the mic a second.
It would be my pleasure.
If there are any spirits in the room and you would care to make yourself known, please do so on this device on my right hand if you care to. Who's with us, please? Never heard that before.
No.
That was a horrible noise.
Hell's that?
But it's a very solid noise.
Oh, it's me.
Who's me?
Who's me? Have a name, please. Never heard it.
Scott.
Scott, it's Scott. Who the fuck are you, Scott?
He's not going to answer that, is he? You weren't very welcoming, Susie.
So, we've got Scott with us. Did you belong to the castle, Scott?
Oh.
Girl's voice.
What? Eleanor, the little girl of Chillingham Castle.
He just went, Hua!
Like he's been sick.
Garrotted.
That's like the noise that scared Yvette Fielding.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
FYI, Yvette Fielding.
When Most Haunted were here, Yvette Fielding was in the passageway just opposite us. And then this awful noise, it sounded like somebody's gargled last breath permeated the passageway. That's pretty much what it was like. And then she disappeared in heedless terror through this doorway into here, which was in darkness, and her makeup lady, Marcel I think it was, she disappeared into the kitchen and wouldn't come out.
Oh my god.
So that was quite something.
So this was Yvette Fielding's second episode of Most Haunted.
It was the second ever episode of Most Haunted.
She just lost her shit.
It's still out there for all the world to see.
Haunted as hell.
This place is colossally haunted.
Can you tell us one last story about the lamp? You said something about a lamp, and I was so intrigued.
Right then.
Just by the way, if anyone was keeping up on this and on YouTube or watching on Spotify, the camera has died because of ghost activity, and there's nothing we can do about it. We've had this all night. Camera's just cut out, so you'll just have our dulcet tones of me and Hannah and Richard.
Right, I'm going to tell you a tale in Northumberland about the Duergar.
Oh, yes, please.
The Duergar are very malicious, malevolent elves.
Oh my god.
Now then, the one thing you've got to be really careful of if you're walking around in the hilly and somewhat craggy regions of Northumberland is if you see a really little welcoming light, don't be attracted to this light, because as you get closer and closer and closer to it, you may find, oh, look at that, that's a really nice little sort of shack. There's a fire going in there. Oh, that looks rather welcoming. You have a look in the window. There's the fire going. Little lamp on.
It's a trap, isn't it?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. They're luring you in like the sirens of the sea.
Yes, so if you go in there and you be warming yourself by the fire, suddenly you'll be silently confronted with one of the little folk, the Duergar himself. He won't say anything. He'll just sit there scowling at you. It becomes a bit of a battle of wits. But whatever you do is get out of there before sunrise.
Oh!
Because if you don't, you may just find, especially if he's handing things to you, he's actually set things up on a precipice. So remove yourself and go back precisely the way you went. Otherwise, he'll have lured you to your doom.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yes, that's the Duergar.
The Duergar.
The Duergar.
With a little lantern
The
going,
little lantern.
Ha, come with
Yes.
me.
And the other one is, there might be sweet music playing as well.
Of course there is.
And
I bet it's so inviting on a stormy night.
yeah.
Wow.
And of course they can also lead you into peat bogs. All this sort of thing. And did you hear the knock from upstairs?
What?
When?
Sorry, just now?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Richard, don't lie. There was a knock.
It was just a knock upstairs, yes.
In the chapel?
I'm going to tell you a story here.
Okay.
3 or 4 years ago, I was sat where Barney was with a colleague at the time, and we were doing a pendulum session. And we asked if anybody was there, and to give us a sign. And then there was a clatter on the minstrel's gallery, so we ran upstairs and found a little wooden doorknob. Oh, where's that come from? So it was all dusty and dirty, and well, that's strange. And so we migrated into the chapel, and we both sat there with a pair of divining rods, and just on a bit of a session to see who's there. Then we had a disembodied voice went, "Get out of my house."
Oh, God.
So we did.
Yeah, you did. Smart, wise move.
So we did. Yeah, but disembodied voices in here.
You see, when you say you got out of the house, you just got out of this bit.
Well,
here.
we just got out. We
You
just
just
thought
ran, yeah,
it wasn't nice. Quite often in the chapel, you hear what seems like two men talking, and you try and uncover what they're saying, and it just stops. They just disappear.
Do you know who it was that told you to get out?
Haven't a clue.
My God.
Have not a clue. But
His house. Could it be King Edward?
Well, it wasn't his house.
Oh.
It's probably John.
Well, it wasn't John's house either, was it? John the Torturer bloke. Didn't he just kind of work here?
It could have been one of the earls from years ago.
There's just so many, isn't there? There's
Yes.
so many. This is the problem
Yeah.
when you can't pass a mortgage on to a ghost, and there's all that issue.
Yes, but if you're selling a house, you have to declare if it's haunted nowadays.
Well, I mean, good luck
Yeah.
selling this one. I can't stop looking around because I'm absolutely petrified that something's going to come at me again. I don't know what to do. Don't you feel like that? Do you know what? That King Edward room really freaked me out more than anything else tonight, actually.
And I don't know if we mentioned the red blob on the wall. So when we were in there, there was what looked like the sunset glowing onto the stone wall.
There was no windows.
And we thought, oh, that's fine. It's a bit of red light from the sun setting. It wasn't. There was. We waved our hand in front of the window, and as we looked at it, it just disappeared into the wall. So just a red glowing I mean, have you ever seen that before?
Nope. That's a new one on a new one on me. But I'm going to tell you another little story that happened right here, right there beside that painting.
Okay, that's for anyone who can't see. It's a big moose. It's a big moose.
It's an elk, prehistoric elk.
Oh, sorry, it's an elk. It's an elk.
Yes, back in the earlier part of the 20th century, the Earl, the 7th Earl, hired Aleister Crowley.
The famous Satanist.
Yes, to come here to protect him from witchcraft.
Those hoary witches. Got to be protected from them.
So, he performed various rites and incantations just there, effectively opening up something like Pandora's box.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And we had the residuals of this flying around on a private ghost hunt 2 weeks ago, and you should have seen what happened to us in the chapel. It was absolutely amazing. The temperatures were going through the floor. We lost 15 degrees C at the drop of a hat. We had all sorts of strange noises coming out the spirit boxes. The pendulums walloping round the board as fast as you like. Eventually it was there was some entity that wanted to be known as Timothy. That was at the epicenter of it, but he got nasty and he wanted to be called Timmy. And then after that, it changed to Tim.
Timmy's very nasty, isn't
and it was the one that caused a lot of trouble outside Halloween last year.
Oh, shit.
We moved him on, and he came in here.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they linger, don't they?
Oh, yeah. This one, he was a proper boomerang. He went and he came back somehow or other.
Boomerang ghost.
A boomerang ghost, but not nice. Not nice.
Shitty Timmy. We do. Yay! That made Richard laugh. Shitty Timmy.
That's it now.
And his shitty pals who just keep boomeranging back.
Yes. Should we see if he's here?
Yes, obviously yes.
Oh yeah.
Timothy. Tim. Or whatever.
It's one of the famous
Suzie was
five.
calling you.
Shitty Timmy.
Don't sit, Suzie.
No, go on. Bring it on.
If you would like to come through, please do so. Here we go. Timothy, are you here? Don't be shy. You just told us to.
What did you say?
It wasn't nice. Yep. I know it wasn't nice. We just got told F off there. Yes. They do that.
I won't hear that from you, shitty Timmy.
Could you say your name then, Timothy?
Mad. The fire's starting to. What was that?
It's not nice.
What did it say?
Did you say the C word?
I think so. Just
Suzie, call you a cunt. That's not my phone. No, absolutely fair enough from Shitty Timmy. I concur. Wow, I can't believe you've been called a C word by a ghost.
That was not nice.
Suzie.
Oh, you're right, that was not nice.
That was not nice.
Okay, we need to leave. Okay, we are wrapping it up because we need to get out of here before Suzie gets us fucking murdered. Richard, you have been an absolute pleasure and a wonderful human being. Thank you so much for letting us come and showing us around and giving us some amazing experiences. We'll remember it forever. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Aww. And we're over at... You are an official ghost hunt now, Richard. We'll send you a badge, we'll send you a tote bag, we'll send you a t-shirt, merch is coming. We'll send it all to you. But thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Except that, we are now going to get haunted forever. So
that's all right.
That's all right, Viv. That's the tagline.
That is the tagline of the podcast. And I mean, guys, get to Chillingham Castle and
get to Chillingham Castle.
You have to come here and do a ghost tour with Richard because bloody hell,
come to a ghost
shitty
tour,
Timmy.
Yes, and I would like to thank Ghost Huns.
Ah, thanks, Richard.
Yes.
It's been amazing. Okay, we're over and out. Don't know why I said that. Never do that again. Bye, 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 bye. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. We have launched Patreon, and thank you so much to everybody who has put some money towards it, is supporting us in it. We love you all. It's so good, and we're so thrilled that you've done it. So we're gonna say thank you to everybody who's done it so far. So we have Amy Moore, who was the first person to pledge. Thank you so much. You're amazing. We love you. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. We've got Millie R.
Millie R. What a legend. R, isn't she cute? Naomi Little. There's nothing little about your support, Naomi. No. God, I'm really good at this.
Big-hearted.
Little
by name.
Thank you, Naomi Little.
Sean Davies, absolute legend. I think he's the Welsh guy.
Sean Davies has given us more money than he should have done, but thank you so much.
Servo Station.
Legends. Absolute legend. We'll try not to disappoint you in the future. Me? Amy Phillips. Thank you so much, Amy.
Another Amy.
Amy Phillips.
I
can't think of a joke for yours, Amy. I'm so sorry. Amy. Hannah Robinson. Great name.
Oh, a lovely name.
What a great name. Congratulations on
Hannah
such a good name. And thank you so much for your support.
I'm very close to your tits here.
Everyone is.
Gemma Ross. Yes. She's the boss.
Amazing. Great, thank you. Georgie B. She be giving us some money. Thank
you, Georgie.
Thank you very much, Georgie. That's great. You're a legend.
Kirsten Lewis or Louis. Who knows? But Kirsten, you're a ledge.
I've just nearly snorted everywhere.
That was
Apologies.
I'm
so
disgusting.
sorry.
I got so close to your face. Oh my God, coffee's in
Nick
teeth, am I right?
Oh, the coffee's in teeth. Anyway, Nick Scowthorne. I'm sorry if that's not how you say your name.
Scotland.
Scowthorne.
Scotland.
And the last but not least,
Kelly Savage.
For this week.
Savagely breaking our hearts by donating in the best way ever.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Great.
Hope you enjoyed the pod. Do go over to Patreon for if you go to tier 3, if you sign up for tier 3, that's where you can see the full ghost hunts. We're going to be doing a ghost hunt. You're going to see footage from a ghost hunt every single month.
Yeah.
And you get bonus episodes, and you get all of our love and gratitude.
Hope you enjoy the poddy.
Thank you so much.
Back in the studio next week.
Bye.
Bye from Ethel.